That's fair.
For the ladder match.
Yeah,
Whoa.
yeah. Whoa.
No, it's Bayley's side. Give it to her.
We are live with Money in the Bank reactions and review. I wonder which side of Devil's Advocate I'm going to have to play tonight. How did you like the show, Tucker? We're joined by Tucker, as always. You know him.
Yeah, you do know me. If you don't, what's wrong with you? I'm everywhere. I am ubiquitous, as they say on.
He was on the kickoff show. That's why you couldn't watch the kickoff show, because you were on it.
Exactly. I thought this show overall was fairly boring. Like, a couple of these matches kind of happened, and I watched them, and I couldn't really tell you anything big or important that happened.
You could.
In a couple of them, yeah. But, like, the majority of them, no. The majority of the important matches, no. I could not tell you a significant spot that made me go, ooh, I really like that.
So I want to play Devil's Advocate as usual, so I'm going to probably edge more positive then. But there were two spots tonight that I felt like, why are you doing those on this show? I didn't I didn't understand. So I will immediately say to you, like, even in the matches I didn't like, there were spots that I was like, I mean, if this was a good match, this would be an incredible spot, but you just randomly put it in the middle of everything.
Right. Can I get a link to the stream real quick? Or I'll grab one. Never mind. I don't know why I asked you. You're busy.
I'm not that busy, but sure, you can grab one.
I'm not that busy.
I'm just talking. I thought it was alright. It was babyface territory night, aside from like the end, which I think people like. There was definitely a few matches on here that I think some people will be really into. And overall, I just think it was the type of show where, like, you sit down to make a WWE show, right? And it's the type of show that, like, if you're thinking sensibly and you want to kind of put on a show to entertain, put on a show to make people happy, I don't think this is that far off the mark. Especially for... it's weird, because we're like, this is the post-Mania show, right? But it's Money in the Bank, which has very rarely been the post-Mania show, so it feels like a really weird placement.
Yeah, no, we're definitely... we're definitely missing a show, because they typically run one at the end of April, right? That's typically Backlash.
It used to be, and then it was like Payback and Fastlane.
And then it became Saudi Mania or whatever. And then, did you pay attention to their Saudi ads tonight?
I didn't see any Saudi ads tonight. What did they run?
Oh, they said, what's bigger than WrestleMania? WWE Super Showdown from
also,
Saudi
Super
Arabia.
Showdown, by the way, I did see that one. Super Showdown, a Maw pay-per-view happening live on the WWE Network. Super Showdown!
Well, that's what they called their Australia pay-per-view last year.
Was it?
So, yeah, I'm wondering if they're just starting
touring brand now? Like,
I was going to say, I'm wondering if they're branding them now as that.
So last year we did have a Backlash after Mania. That was in May. We had Saudi Mania in April. And then 17, we had a Payback. In 16, we had a Payback. Had a few Paybacks there. Lots of Paybacks, actually. Oh, we had Extreme Rules in 14 before Payback.
Oh, no. Extreme Rules. Ooh.
What's your problem with Extreme Rules?
Nothing. They typically do a pretty good job. It's just a weird pay-per-view concept.
The AJ Reigns match from that show not too long ago was really good.
I mean, anytime you put Reigns in kind of a match like that where he's allowed to just like...
The two feuds he's allowed to have that are good.
Yeah, when he's allowed to run around and put people... Because what was the one match he had? Was it like against Kane or something like that? Where it was like, it sticks out in my mind as like being really fucking cool? Or maybe it was Big Show. I don't remember. It was some big immobile fucker.
Was it Sheamus?
No, it was definitely like a big guy. Like
Sheamus is fucking huge.
Yeah, but like he's not Big Show big.
I think Sheamus is like Kane size.
Isn't Kane like 7 feet tall?
Kane's not 7 feet tall. He might be billed as 7 feet tall, but he's not 7 feet
tall. Is he like 6'9" or something? Like
yeah, 6'7" to 6'9" seems about like a decent estimate.
Kane is 7 feet tall build. Oh, build height.
Yeah, because Big Show's not even 7, I don't think. Like IRL. I know he gets billed as over 7 feet tall. I'm pretty sure he's not actually 7.
We don't have anything but a build height, so...
Yeah. We should just go ask someone from Knoxville to go and measure him.
Please go and measure Kane for us.
He's the mayor, so that's got to be a Freedom of Information request, right?
Yeah, be like, I can't respect you if you're short in my mayor.
Kane's like, I'm not short. It's like, look at me. I don't remember Reigns having good matches with big fuckers aside from Sheamus. If I'm going to be honest, maybe there's.
I remember one
out there, but
I gotta look this up.
Sure, he did not. Good segue. He didn't have a good match with Elias tonight.
No, he did not. Wow.
No.
Ooh. Yes, it did happen. I knew it.
Well, was it good though?
Yeah, it was a last minute standing match, Extreme Rules 2015. It definitely happened.
Oh, that wasn't good. I remember that. People thought it was good, so fair enough.
I remember liking that a lot.
Yeah, that's fair. A lot of people did. I didn't. I thought that was trash, but fair. Like,
fair.
Big Show has had a lot of good last man standing matches, so, you don't get to... That's a pretty high scale. It's difficult
That's true,
competition.
yeah.
So yeah, this match against Elias. So tonight, I think the biggest takeaway for me was the two guys that I liked in non-wrestling role. I guess liked is a strong term. One person that I thought was okay, and the other one that I could tolerate in non-wrestling roles started to wrestle again. And I wasn't a fan of that. One of them was Elias. Do you have any thoughts?
On Elias, or who the other one would be?
No, on the Elias and Reigns match.
Oh, it was thankfully very short. If I'm not wrong, it was just the Superman punch on the ramp, Superman punch in the ring, spear.
Well, the match was short, but the angle was like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, the whole angle itself, it was just Elias doing his normal shtick, coming out, this place smells bad, and everybody's like, haha, and it's like, wait, that's really not that funny, though. And then he sung a song in which he said, I don't know, it was something, he forced some kind of rhyme where he said that Hartford was a disgrace or something like that, and I was like, oh wow. And then he got beat up, and I was like, okay.
Complete with the Jeff Jarrett guitarist spot.
Yeah, I will say, really big, guilty pleasure pop for Reigns walking along, and Elias in the camera background sneaking up on him very slowly, and then just smashing him with the guitar.
Yeah, I popped for that too, I gotta be honest. I don't know, it's just, like, I said a few weeks ago when we podcasted about this, that I didn't see Elias. I don't see how you take that, or any of the non-wrestling stuff that's not managerial, and you turn it into a wrestling feud. This seems like they tried, and I think I'm right. I don't see it. I like it. I don't mind him, right? He's tolerable.
No, he's very tolerable, yeah.
But, like, I don't ever want to watch him wrestle. I don't think it adds anything.
His gimmick is not a wrestling gimmick. Like, it's even more forced than, like, when they did it with Jeff Jarrett, and they tried to explain it as, he is in the WWF to promote his country music, and it's like, wait, what?
And with Rock, they did it, like, twice, which is which is fine, because it was twice.
I was going to say, well, also, it's The Rock.
I think Elias is better than The Rock in those segments. I think when you look back at those Rock segments, they have not aged well at all.
That's very interesting, because there's definitely there's whispers of that I've heard off and on, that Elias is possibly better than him at those types of things.
Those things, yeah. Because, like, it's not even necessarily that, like, it's a high bar for me. Like, when you go back and watch those Rock concerts, they are very dated. They are products of their time in a very bad way. Like, they just don't work in a vacuum anymore. So, I mean, some people will argue no wrestling works in a vacuum, but those segments, if you run those Rock segments today, they bomb hard.
Yeah, that's probably pretty accurate, because I remember they did one in 2012.
Yeah,
I remember it being
that one aged better.
Okay at the time.
Yeah,
because
it's more recent.
I was just saying it's probably more recent. That's why it's aged better.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think the difference between the difference in years between that one and today is the same difference in years between that one and the first few. Like,
Yeah, probably
it's
is.
come
Yeah.
a while now. That one does age slightly better because it's just an older Rock. Like, he's more mature in his promo style. Like, all that stuff around Rock. Rock Cena's a great feud. Doesn't crack like top 25 of the decade or anything, but it was good.
No. Yeah, the promo stuff building up to it, consistently some of my favorite stuff ever.
I also
Probably
think the matches were some of Rock's better because I don't rate Rock much in the ring, especially the first one.
I don't think many people do. I think the majority of people acknowledge the fact that he's very okay in the ring. Best term I can just think of is very punch kick.
I mean, I'm a brawl guy, but he's not a great punch kicker.
It's sports anti punch kick, I shall state. Play to the crowd a lot, not brawler type.
I mean, I can get down with that, but yeah, I agree. He's not. It's a little slow. I'd say that. Like it's he doesn't put stuff. He doesn't have sequences. Let's say it that much. Let's say he doesn't have sequences.
We'll go with that.
Yeah. So I don't see if my problem is that Elias is over. My problem is that on this card. So there were two takeaways I had tonight that were particularly positive. One, there were some fucking bumps that they went crazy on. That they absolutely like killed themselves on some of those matches. More than Mania.
Yep.
Not the Evolve show, more than Mania. Just the concept of being more than Mania. And then the crowd for the first, it was like 2.5 hours, but everything before this Elias Reigns segment were really hot tonight. Like, surprisingly so.
They peaked at Bayley.
Yes. But not only did they peak at Bayley, I actually am starting to like maturize my opinions on cooldown matches because you got to be really fucking careful. Because if you peak a crowd like that and then you throw them a dead segment, you never get them back. You never get them back.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened tonight. Is that they peaked and then they threw Reigns Elias out there and that was it, gone. And that's my problem with that. Whereas if you throw I don't know what you can throw out there. Something fast, right? Because I think if you throw Seth AJ out there, the crowd dies too, as we saw with Rumble. Because they had AJ Bryan right after one of the Rumbles and it died. So you got to just throw something fast. Well, Seth could have worked if they sprinted. And they were not there to sprint tonight. That's for damn sure.
If you gave Joe and Ray maybe an extra 2 minutes or something like that, could that have gone there?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Because then you have I don't know, I think maybe, because I think the match and Ray and Dominic gets over, and then the post. So let's talk about the Ray Joe stuff. So
sure,
they did at a match, they did the Ray won the title, they had the Ray Dominic stuff, and then obviously the Joe beatdown afterwards. So if you'd stuck that there, I think the Joe beatdown brings the crowd back down. I'm not sure if they recover from that.
I think there's enough. I think the crowd understands, obviously. I say they're interested in Dominic. You know what I mean? They kind of want to know what's going on with him.
Well, if we're talking about the most over people on the show, then they clearly should have stuck the Miz Shane match there, because then George Mizanin could.
I was gonna say, I will say, probably two of the most over people in the company right now are Dominic Mysterio and George Mizanin. I want them at WrestleMania.
So talking about the Ray Joe match, why do they keep fucking us with this match? Is Ray really injured? Like, severely? Is Ray done?
I think they broke Samoa Joe's nose.
Well, obviously. But, like, Samoa Joe can wrestle with a broken nose. Something must be. Because that's twice now that they've either pulled this match or done that. And I think Ray's, like, proper injured. I'm not watching the product. Maybe he's wrestling on TV. But I can think of no other reason why they would do these matches unless Ray was, like, proper injured.
I think this was supposed to go longer, and Joe breaking his nose, the ref panicked and called for it and was like, y'all fucking end this right now. Because the show, think about when that show ended, right? My time or so, it was 10:38. There's like 15 minutes, 20 minutes there. Like, that's probably for that match, I'd say.
I don't know. I go on the other end. I think they were probably looking to go 3 hours and went 38 over.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility.
They were like, oh, let's start from 3 hours and then give Seth and AJ, like, as much time as Seth wants.
Yeah, that's. I believe that they would have enough misplaced faith in Seth to just say that. Just be like, you guys go out there, do whatever you want, go as long as you want, we'll work around it.
I can see it getting cut out of the show. I don't know. They finish around this time a lot of times. I think they just. You're probably right. There's a good argument there, but I don't know. I just think it's too coincidental. It's happened twice now. And
yeah, that's fair.
Also, Lars got busted up later as well. I think they went a little longer on that. Not like super long. It was a squash for sure, but I don't think they insta called it with Lars.
I wasn't paying total attention, but I at least saw the part where like Kalisto shot on him. Eh? Like people are pretty sure that Kalisto, like that cut or whatever, Kalisto tried to fuck him up. Which, if he did, big ups to Chicago luchador Kalisto.
I liked Salida Del Sol as much as the next guy. So I'm totally down for that.
Yeah, I guess we've kind of moved on from the Ray Joe thing.
I think we've moved on to Kalisto Lars. So
yeah,
so this match made the card, and Brian didn't. Just putting it out there. Also, the cruiserweights, which we'll talk about next, they made the card, and Brian didn't.
Yeah. Not just Brian, by the way. Brian with the Usos, who
that's fair.
Are very quietly like a very good tag team. We've had this conversation where you're like, oh, it's the Usos, and then they wrestle, and you're like, oh yeah, wait, no, they're actually good.
Did any of the tag belts make the card tonight? Any of the three? I don't think they did, right?
No, the women's belts weren't even contested. I don't know who has the Raw belts. It might still be Ryder and Hawkins. I don't know.
Isn't it the Revival, or is that a long time ago now?
I don't know. I couldn't care less.
Yeah, me neither. The women's belts, though, that's a big yikes for that one, I think.
That's a bad sign. Yep.
That's like, let's have two people that fought really hard to make those titles a thing, and then one of them leaves the company, so we'll push the other one.
Yep.
That's a big yikes from me, Chief.
Whatever it was, the Iconics versus the fucking Kabuki Warriors, or whatever the hell they're supposed to be called.
I want to talk about this. If you're gonna stick those two together, why not just call up EO?
Yep. Why not just do all three?
Well, not even all three. I would have just done those two, because like the whole point of not calling up EO was that they can be single stars. But Kairi isn't a single star, and Asuka's actually a single star. So instead of ruining 0 single stars by calling up EO and Kairi, they ruined one. That's one more single star they ruined. And I get that EO and Kairi can be single stars, but they're not yet. And Asuka's like proper over. And then Asuka's whole year has been just ugh.
It's gone downhill. We'll go with that. Started off very high at the Rumble, and tanked.
Yeah, and they had a really good opportunity as well with that, because they did. And look, we had our disagreements in January, but probably with the hindsight of how bad it's been since, we can all agree that at least it was something. I think it was a really well worked angle, but even if you don't think so, it was something, and they completely threw that away. So I think that's stupid, and obviously, like, look, we all like Bayley on this show a lot. Some of us more than others, and like, we think she's really good, but what happened with that tag team title was, I just think it was completely pointless. And they're probably going to introduce a new women's title tomorrow night or tonight, depending on where you're watching this. So, like, what's going to happen with that title?
Do you think the women's tag belts are like, they won't abandon them? I know that. No. It's just that they're definitely like nothing important. Very obviously, I think.
Same with all the tag titles, though. At least there's that. It's not like they're being treated any worse than the other tag titles.
They are on par with the men's belts. Equality, folks.
I mean, we've been talking about this for years. The phrase in wrestling, there's a very common phrase: the women are being booked as shittily as the men. That's equality. Like that's happened a few times. And look, I think it happened tonight. We're at the point where WWE is kind of booking the women as shittily as the men, right? The two main women's titles matches were put on about as much prestige tonight as the two main men's ones.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Even though the men's ones happened later, like that happens sometimes on cards. None of them main evented. They put the men's Money in the Bank on last, which was weird, but obviously they had a reason for it. We'll talk about that later. But they did it last year as well, and they did it one year and Orton won it. So I don't give them that excuse. Like, I don't know. I don't think either of them should have gone. I think they should go early in the show because then you have the like mystique of either of them could cash in, right?
Yeah, no, I always liked the idea. I always liked kicking off with, when they only had the men's one, I always like kicking off or either putting it second. Because then, either of the matches, you're on the edge of your seat, right? Like, whoa, like, what's going to happen here? Is one of them going to cash in? I think the idea of putting...
That's why I liked it at Mania, too. Like, I liked the opening.
Oh, yeah. The Money in the Bank match going on last is, like... It's just pointless, I think.
I don't think it's a feature attraction, either. Like, that's another thing.
I was about to say... There are bigger matches that people are willing to pay for. Like, okay, like, not me. I wouldn't be paying for them. But people show up...
paid for the show, by the way.
Unfortunately. Seth Rollins, AJ Styles, right? Like, people, I assume, paid to see that. Or maybe Kofi Owens. Or maybe Becky Charlotte. I don't know. Are women a draw? May find out next time on...
Look at my
Are women a draw?
Look at my 2015 articles about NXT house shows.
Yeah.
The answer is yes.
There you go.
Bailey is, Charlotte is, Sasha is, and Ronda is, but we don't know about Becky
yet. Shane Miz could have gone on last on our show, because
Shane Miz, by the way, my match of the night.
Same. Yep. Same. By far, also. No, not by far. Sorry.
It was by a reasonable chunk for me.
Yes.
It was a quarter of a star for me.
I'm about the same.
Yeah.
Yep. So back to where we were.
We were talking about
Money in the Bank.
Well, we were talking about
it should go on earlier because it creates intrigue. You're on the edge of your seat for both of the big matches. It encourages you, especially in the network era, where, pay-per-views, you don't sit down and pay $60 for pay-per-views. So you gotta sit here and you can watch it whenever you want.
Yep.
There's a reason for you to stay with it and be involved with the show as it's happening live because you don't want to miss the big cash-in.
I still think there should be. This is one of those events that I want to pitch like fucking pay-per-view weekend for WWE, because they should do 2 nights of Money in the Bank, and one of them you do the men's match and the other night you do the women's match, and they both kick off the shows.
Yeah, that would be great.
I think we're at the. I don't know. I get there's arguments against it, but even like outside, obviously Mania, I suggested it, and I'm coming around to the idea now that like they should do more pay-per-view weekends, because I think they'll make more money from ticket sales for one thing, and even if they don't want to make more, they can just sell fucking combo packs, and you might get the indies to come in. It'd be good for the scene. Like, I don't know, but there's. I definitely think you could pull 2 shows out of this, which is the reason why I mentioned that is because obviously we're getting another belt tomorrow. 3 belts missed out on the main card at least tonight. More than 3, because I don't think the IC title got defended. That's 4. Probably more that I'm missing. But there's a bunch of belts that are going to get defended tonight, which is fine. I don't think belts should be defended on every show. I'm one of those guys. So, like, that's chill. And we'll get to that when we get to the main event, because I'm probably in a very different camp from most people on the main event, as I usually am regarding the person it concerns. So, Lars Kalisto, do you give a shit about Lars Sullivan anymore?
I don't, but I don't know why he's still getting put. Does Vince just not care? Does he not really care anymore? Like,
what do you mean?
Like, all the stuff came out or whatever about he's like racist and he's sexist, and he called Vince like an old fucker or something like that.
I think Vince probably liked that for the last.
That's
time.
True. Yeah. I mean, it's obvious that Vince doesn't care because he instantly booked him against a whole bunch of luchadors.
Well, I think,
which, by the way, amazing heat. Fucking Vince knows his audience.
I think Vince is probably the type of guy when he sees shit like that to say like, come out with the $100,000 fine, and they probably wanted to book him very quickly afterwards to show that they're like getting through it. If you know what I mean. Also,
to try to put it past, put him past it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
be like,
there are issues with it though. I will like issues even like look. I think the comments I've seen, and I have seen a few of them, are absurdly disgusting.
Oh, gross.
I just get him out of the wrestling company if I'm going to be completely honest with you. But
I'd fire his ass. He's got no value.
yeah, and
You haven't put any time in him.
firing is legally better than what they did, because actually, I'm not sure they're actually allowed to fine him for that. And I don't think they've actually fined him, by the way. So I don't think they're allowed to fine him because he's a contractor, and that didn't happen within the contract, right? So
I'm not sure they're going to do sensitivity training either. I don't even know, like, what that entails.
That they're allowed to do, but the fine is literally illegal. Like, I think I'm not. I'm pretty versed on contract law, but not American contract law. But like, I'm pretty sure because he's a contractor, they're not actually allowed to fine him. So what I imagine they're going to do is that they're going to fine him, but pay the fine for him.
Probably, yeah.
For that, and like,
or give him a bonus at the end of the year.
Yeah, I've seen that one as well. So, but they should just fired him, because like they are allowed to fire him because, you know, it's a character thing, right? It shows on your character.
Say it again. You've invested no time in him. He has not beaten anybody of major value. You're not losing a draw. You're not losing money. Like,
nobody on the Indies is going to use him as a megastar.
Oh, especially not after this.
Well, I don't know. Michael Elgin is still singing all use, and people aren't too happy with that. So maybe people will book him, but I don't think he's going to be a big deal.
New Japan will book him. New Japan will get all over him. They'll be like, you said what about who? Oh, get over here.
We got a guy fucking bullying disabled people on tour shows. Good shit.
Fun times.
So, do you care about the Kalisto? I suppose is the next question. I mean, you liked him popping off.
I just feel bad for Kalisto.
Like, I like Salida Del Sol as much as the next guy.
I will say, with Kalisto, he probably deserves better. Asterisk next to probably, because I don't remember if he's good or not. I haven't taken him seriously for years.
I'm going to continue to die on the hill of the Lucha Dragons deserve better.
Sin Cara probably deserved better after that run. Where'd he go?
To Wolves, apparently. The English football club Wolves, where he has a friend there. And he's been hanging out from what I've seen.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm not sure which Sin Cara it is. I used to be up on my Sin Cara mythology, but now I don't know which of the three it is.
Because you were the one who told me that, like, Mystico was Mystico before he changed his name to the thing that Hunico was, but Hunico was not Hunico.
Mystico became Sin Cara, and then Sin Cara became Sin Cara, and then there was Sin Cara Negro and Sin Cara Blue, or something like that.
Azul, thank you.
And then Sin Cara became Mystices, but there was already a Mystices, so Mystices became Mystices 2, and then look, there was a bunch of shit going on, and Sin Cara.
But wasn't it like Mystices 2 at one point went under Mystico for some reason?
No, I think Mystices 2 went under the name Dragon Lee, even though there was already a Dragon Lee. I believe Dragon Lee gets in here. And the Dragon Lee that we all know and hate or love, depending on whether or not you blame him for a certain unfortunate tragedy, is Dragon Lee 2.
Yes. Wrestling!
And Sin Cara, I believe, is the only person who's ever lost a Mascara de Mascara match to himself. Because he had that, Azul and Negro had that WWE mask versus mask match.
Yeah, never forget Hunico coming out on its lowrider with fucking Tongaloa or whatever. Holy shit. Who they tried to pretend was Hispanic.
Well, anyway, like I said, I love Salida Del Sol. Samurai Del Sol. Have I been calling him Salida Del Sol all night? Samurai Del Sol.
Yeah, I've been kind of like, I wonder if he knows.
Very nasty. As much as I think the Lucha Dragons deserve better. He's good. He's a good tag team guy. I don't think even on 205.
Agreed.
I wish 205 was bigger than it was. They need to run fucking independent tapings. They need to run quarterly shows. It would be over as hell. Run it in Smart Towns. Why? I don't understand. It wouldn't cost you that much money. It would probably make you money because they'd sell tickets. Anyway. So we haven't really segued onto any of the matches particularly cleanly. So let's start at the open of the show. Actually, I'm going to briefly mention the pre-show. You didn't watch it, so I'll just briefly go through it. I don't know how great of a match it was. Wasn't paying full attention. It was all right. One of the better things on the show, honestly, for me. But, you know, I didn't pay full attention. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch it. Brian shouldn't be on the undercard, obviously. The Usos, you're right, probably shouldn't be either. And everyone, even people that watched the product, thought this was a title match. Turns out it wasn't. So that's a thing. Be interesting to see where that goes. No, it won't be, because I'm not going to be watching the product. So yeah, this was a thing. It was all right. Opening match of the show was the women's Money in the Bank match. What do you think of this?
I only caught the end of this. I've seen a couple different spots or whatever. I know some hilarity ensued with like Mandy Rose losing her hair extensions or something like that. Ember hit a pretty nice spot to the outside, or fucking whatever it is, the Finnish gimmick. You know what I mean?
The Finnish gimmick.
The Finnish gimmick.
The Danish and the Swedish gimmick.
Yes, indeed. Big fan of Finland, that Ember Moon is.
Yeah.
I saw Bailey win and then cut a weird promo where she like acted like she hasn't been completely irrelevant for the past like 2 years.
She was tag team champion, dude.
Oh yeah, right. Those prestigious belts that definitely.
Honestly, though, I will say this. I don't know if I agree with you, because last year I wasn't watching the product, because I never watched the product. But I heard a lot about the Bailey Sasha stuff, so it was clearly like there was buzz. And then earlier this year, before the tag team titles went to shit, when they were building up to them and during the Elimination Chamber, it was a big part of the show. So I think she's been relevant.
Do you know enough about the Bailey Sasha stuff from last year to be able to recall when they made them lesbian for a single week?
Of course.
Out
of everything in the feud, that's the one thing I remember.
I mean, it is probably the most startling thing that happened and then disappeared.
And then just immediately, I was looking into it because I saw this and I was like, they can't, no, I don't believe you. And then I found the segment and I was like, okay, I can see how they could do this, like, without going down that road. They could be like, oh, of course. I mean, I do say I love you to a lot of people. I'll put that out there. I'm one of those guys. So I could see that. And then they just immediately dropped it. You're right. It just completely dropped and I never spoke of it again.
Yeah, no, like, because if I'm not wrong, I remember that segment being like, because wasn't it like, I love you? And then there was definitely like something where it was like, wait a minute, you don't mean this, as in just like, you're like my best friend in the whole world. I recall, didn't one of them be like, I think about you all the time? And it was like, wait, what the fuck?
It could definitely have been spun in a platonic way. And the hesitation, rather than being that, could have just been one of them is very bad at talking about their feelings, which I think was the intended angle. But they did just immediately drop it, probably after, people got a hold of it.
People went, hold on, does that mean what I think it means? They were like, no.
Submission sorority reunion. So I think she's been relevant. That's my counterpoint. The Sasha Bailey stuff got buzz last year, and before it all went to shit, the tag team titles were a big part of the show.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, she's won all the belts.
You could argue relevancy, and maybe that's not the term I'm looking for, but I don't think the vast majority of people have cared about Bailey for about 2 years now.
I mean, she's the spring-fall main eventer, right? You see them; they're a dime a dozen in WWE. They're the spring-fall main eventers that just they show up at around now and they disappear before Survivor Series, right? And that's, I mean, some of them are like you can't argue that Jinder Mahal wasn't relevant for a year, right?
Oh, Jinder Mahal was extremely relevant.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie when I say I was totally shocked when he went to Raw and was instantly like nobody again. I was like, no, like keep him in the upper mid card. Why not?
I mean,
like you put money into him.
I thought he was like trash, but he was
Oh
relevant.
no, I also think he was trash, but you put money into him. Like he had like
I think he made them more money than they pushed into him.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I don't think that you can ever justify putting the WWE fucking title on somebody and then like forgetting about them like 3 months later.
But I
completely.
think it was a tactical strike. I think they wanted to break into a new market. They did it over the course of like 9 months, and now they're building new stars from that region, right? So like, I think he served his purpose. I think he was always intended to follow this trajectory.
Fair.
Much like Sheamus when they wanted to break into the pale market.
He's over with me.
Also, where is Sheamus and Cesaro on this show? Are they still around?
Where was Bobby Lashley?
I wasn't asking that question.
That was the first question when the Money in the Bank match happened, and I saw Baron Corbin and Drew McIntyre, and I said, they're missing the third guy. Where's Bobo? What's going on here?
Isn't he feuding with Leo Rush on Main Event? That would be my guess.
I thought he was feuding with Finn Balor on Main Event. And Finn Balor's here.
Yeah, maybe he was supposed to be the run-in, and Brock didn't get the memo. So...
They wrote down Black Lesnar, and Brock showed up, and they were like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I guess send him out."
I mean, yeah, this works. Do we not have to pay him?
Yeah, we're not paying you though. And he's like, "I guess I'm here." Send him out.
So yeah, I mean, what did you think? Obviously, let's talk about this in conjunction with the two women's title matches. So,
sure.
What did you think of them before we like sum up on the opener? What do you think of the two title matches?
The two women's title matches, I thought they were fine.
Yeah.
I thought totally okay matches. Lacey Evans shocked me because I thought she would be god awful, and she was just below average, very uninteresting, but seemed like she was competent and that she wouldn't murder anyone.
Yeah, Lacey is the person I was talking about at the start of the show as the other person that I would have just been fine with if she just kept doing the walking thing.
Sure, yeah.
But, I don't know, I definitely have a lower opinion of her than you, by the sounds of things. And it does not to mean that you put her over in a glorious light there. I'm just saying that, like, she has some issues in terms of character stuff that really take me out. I'm not even talking about the way the character's designed. I'm just talking about the actress. Like, her facials, her mannerisms. It's very Natalia. It's very Natalia.
I don't know why, but like my brain just went, no, that's right, yeah. Natalia.
It's like when you need her to do character stuff, she doesn't, and then when she does, it's really like over the top and corny. Right? She just screams what her character should be, right? She describes her character in words. Which isn't quite how you do physical storytelling. But you're right, she's not going to kill anyone. I'd agree with that.
No.
And the finish, look, I'm a big fan of the Big Show. So, you know, the finish, she has a good finish. Like, I'm a brawl guy. If you treat strikes as important, I will pop for it. But I don't know. I don't know whether I'm impressed with Becky because she did used to be able to do that with people, and it looks like that this was like a solid carry, but it wasn't glorious or anything. And I'm not sure whether I should have expected it to be. I didn't, but some people could like I think 2015 Bayley gets a really good match out of Lacey Evans.
Well, I would say that, but that's because I think like 2015 Bayley is like the greatest North American women's worker ever. Like she's
you should go through
ridiculous.
A 12-month period putting on at least one 5-star match by most people's sums, and then bringing Carmella and Nia Jax to workable matches, considering where their careers have gone. Well, had gone for the 2 years after. Obviously, Carmella has really developed over the last like 2 years, I'd say. But like those 2 years after the Bayley stuff ended were rough. Oh, not only those two, I just remembered. Fucking Eva Marie. She had a fucking good match with us all.
Oh my god, you're right!
Yeah.
She's the GOAT!
She had an amazing year. So like, yeah, Bayley we got a really good. So that's why I like put the high watermarks. And look, I think fucking Sasha could bump I think Sasha would probably got a good match at Lacey Evans because she just bumped for
I was going to say, Lacey tried to work a very, God, I'll give her this credit, Southern heel style, where she was very, like, painfully slow-looking, grapply shit. She, like, raked the nose a couple times, I think that's what the fuck you call it. And, like, generally kind of tried to do painful looking things, which I think Sasha would have been fucking phenomenal for. Like, I think at one spot or whatever where she like bent Becky over her knee and like ripped at her like face and stuff like that. I think Sasha would have had like a field day with that. Mostly because, like you said, Sasha likes to sell like death for anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, it was a match.
Yeah, I don't think it was the worst thing on the cards.
No, definitely not.
And then obviously we had the other match right afterwards, which I'm not sure if I like that. Obviously there was an angle there.
Yeah.
So let's just talk about the match in a vacuum first of all. I need to rewatch this one because I have a feeling it's probably better than I remember. It was okay. These two have had better matches.
I'm very much similar. I think that if I watched it again and was totally like locked in on it, like picking up little different things, almost certainly, because I believe these two have done enough matches together where they could call back to some stuff. Maybe
they were always the weakest, the literal weakest pairing of the four, though.
Yes,
like every other pairing of the four was miles better than these two. Obviously,
there's a reason why they made them friends forever.
Yeah.
No, I don't even trust them to know that. I think they just lucked into that and they were like, hey.
Oh yeah, the fucking Charlotte Bayley and Charlotte Sasha matches were super luck. For sure.
But this it was fine, I think. Charlotte is fine, I think. She's
the thing with Charlotte that always gets me is she is really good.
I was gonna say inconsistent, I think.
I don't even know about that. I think she's pretty consistent. She's just massively overpushed. Like I think that's
maybe you're right there.
I think she's really good, but she's being pushed like she's fucking John Cena.
What did I say to you? She has 9 title reigns right now in 3 years, and I estimated by the time she retires, she'll have probably 26. I
said underestimate, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, I thought you were like, I thought you meant underestimate. Like I was underestimating that number. I was like 38.
I did mean that, yeah.
Okay, because I was like 38, and you were like underestimate.
Underestimate, you son of a bitch.
From there, I thought you meant like I made that estimation, and you were like, "Oh God, you're right. Take it back. Remove it from the world."
Yeah, she got 9 title reigns. Yeah, fuck me, man.
God, in like 3 years.
I tell you what, though, Okada. I don't think Okada's that far off. It's not low. But yeah, like she's. I'm gonna just go look at Okada's real quick. It's 5, but obviously one of them is for like 4 years.
Yeah, one of them is like 6 of Charlotte's reigns combined. So,
fucking. So, yeah, that's my thing with Charlotte. She is really good. Like, I don't know. Like, Charlotte is miles better than any pre-Charlotte woman in the WWE.
Oh yes, yeah, of course.
There might be some cameos from people that did really good work elsewhere. Like there's probably one or two Joshi girls that made appearances in the 90s, and I forgot about that. Like maybe Hokuto was on a show or something. But like mainstay for their work in WWE, she's better than like Trish and Lita by miles.
Oh, of course, yeah. I think so, undoubtedly.
Yeah. So, but she has 9 reigns in 3 years.
For me, at least, I think Charlotte can be boring sometimes. I think it might be she's overpushed. She's, I think, on like every single pay-per-view. Maybe because the moment you instantly said overpushed, it kind of clicked with me that maybe that's why I think she can be on and off sometimes. Because I think you're just exposed to so much of her that sometimes you get a little bored of her. Because every wrestler has their go-to stuff. So there might just be a case of that, but I definitely agree with that. Charlotte is really quite fucking good. She's come a long way from where I guess she started on like the main roster or whatever, where she was
she definitely has a bell curve, I'd say. Like she started super over impressive, and then because the overpush started immediately. Right? So as soon as she got to the main roster, the expectations like just went sky high on her. Where they started like at a middling level. and she was massively over-exceeding. Gets to the main roster, expectations absolutely sky high, and she's nowhere near living up to those. And eventually she starts to go up. The push doesn't go down, but she's getting closer to where that.
She's
push
getting
is.
closer. Yeah.
What I'd say as well on the inconsistency point is what you're probably experiencing. What I would say is that the reason why you think she's inconsistent is because some nights the push kind of matches because like just the story. So like I'd say tonight in Mania she was pushed about as hard as she should be, and then you have nights like Asuka where like the Asuka SmackDown match where she's clearly being overpushed and she doesn't live up to that. So that may be why you think she's inconsistent, because on those nights you're like, she's terrible, but she's not. She's just, it's impossible. Like the position she's in, it's just impossible to live up to that. Whereas tonight she's in the perfect role. Mania, I think she was in the perfect role, right? Like if she wins this title, it's her third win, it's her third title. That's perfect. It's fine, right? But it's nice.
Oh yeah, undoubtedly.
So we've literally seen her win this title like twice this year.
Because I was going to say, it's not necessarily my problem with so many reigns necessarily. I mean, it obviously is a problem, but it's even more frustrating to me when they're stupid reigns. Like she beat Asuka the week before Mania, dropped it. Now a month later, she's got it back. That's 2 reigns. Like 2 reigns for like a week less of work.
Yeah,
like,
I think we're at the point. Like, part of me is thinking when I saw all this shit happening with like. You know, we obviously had the 2 titles thing at Mania, and then this tonight. I'm getting to the point where either they need to go full like MMA with it and have all the belts, and just they need to like defend 5 on a show, right? They need to stop trying to defend like 8. Just defend 5 on a show. These are our 5-main event matches, or they just go tournament with it, because we're at the point where it's just meaningless that you've had like 10 title reigns, because everyone has. So maybe but Royal Rumble wins are kind of important because it's only once a year,
right?
And that's why, you know, with SmackDown I had like regular tournaments. We had the Summer Sizzler every year, and then of course we had the Style Battle. I think those were 2 different things, and then we had the G1 was a block. Yeah, not the G1. It was G1 theme.
The G1 King of the Ring.
The King of the Ring. Yeah. It was 2 blocks. So like, yeah, I obviously look, if anyone's ever watched my TW series, I'm a big tournaments fan. But and I watch a lot of team sports. So there's a lot more I think you can do with selling something if it's you only get to win it every year. You don't get to like have 2-day reigns or hour-long reigns as we had tonight, I think. Or less than an hour, like a 10-minute reign.
It's, you know what's something I think that is interesting I've just thought of, right? Charlotte in her 3 years has the same amount of like women's title reigns that Chris Jericho has IC reigns for his entire like time in WWE. And that's like maybe a collective. Actually, that's not that crazy. So let me think. Jericho did like what, like 6 years or so, and then like 2, and then like 2, and then like 2. Huh.
Here's a good thing. I was looking this up because I was curious on this one. I want to make this comp. Charlotte has more than double the title reigns as the Roman Reigns has.
God, that's gross. It's just gross. Like, what the hell am I supposed to say aside from it's just.
You can't even use the excuse that like there was a period there where there were fewer titles for the women, because I think most of Charlotte's reigns have come since the split.
Oh yeah, they definitely have. You know what definitely has helped her numbers? The weird thing they did when they tried to build prestige for the Raw title by having her and Sasha flip it back and forth every other week.
Well, Sasha
for like
never
5
defended
months.
the title, I think, in that feud. Like,
yeah, and they tried to make that like a storyline, but they never did because she never like properly defended it ever. She just kind of sucked at
probably
defending.
Like 3 reigns, and then you've got the Asuka flip, and like you said, I mean, she dropped it like last year. Like, they just seem to flip it on her every like 2 months at least, and it's. I mean, obvious. It's very obvious. Like, there's no need to like skirt around it. They clearly think the world of her, and they have every reason to. But like, that's what over pushing looks like. You know what I mean? And they're clearly going to do the story when she gets to 16. They obviously want to do that.
Oh, of course.
But like, she's like 29.
No, I think she's 31, 32.
Okay. But even then, you've got... I mean, actually, maybe you don't have time. How long do you think she wrestles?
She's
She's
Did you
32.
say she wrestled?
Oh, I'm going to switch the server real quick. Hold on. Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
How long do you think she wrestles?
How long do I think she wrestles? How old is she now? 33, you
She's
said?
33, yeah.
Let's say a decent number is 41, maybe? 39? I'm thinking one of those two numbers.
I could see 39. I could see her going old, for sure, but I'm not sure if I could see Vince wanting her to.
Yeah, that's fair. I think if she wrestles until 41, she definitely won't be this level, hopefully, dear God, for as long. But
she'll hang around Seth Rollins as part of a stable, and then they'll feud in a steel cage. And she'll bleed like hell.
There you go.
No, is Seth Rollins even the H comp anymore? He's been wrestling babyface for long enough that I can take that off of him. Who maybe Baron Corbin is the new Triple H stand-in. He's not pushed enough.
No, Baron Corbin is full on like Scott Steiner WCW. Like just he's entertaining as hell, has so much heat on him. Sometimes looks like he can barely fucking work. Other times looks like he's actually a really solid worker.
Has Baron Corbin ever had a good match? He had one, wasn't it? It was like, there were two. There were two really good matches of Baron Corbin's. There was one singles match that I can't remember. And then there was the match. And when I say it, you'll remember it. Baron Corbin and Rhino against American Alpha.
I don't remember it.
What? That match was crazy. It was the first Dusty. It was like the final, I think, or the semi. And it was crazy. And Chad Gable hit like a chaos theory on Baron. And Rhino bumped like crazy. That match was so good.
I don't remember that, but it seems like something Baron would be really good at.
Let's have a look. Let's see if I'm misremembering or whether that was actually a thing. 2015 tournament. Baron Corbin and Rhino versus American Alpha, yeah. 10-minute sprint. Baron Corbin and Rhino won the match and went on to lose to Finn and Samoa Joe.
Wow. I don't know if I've ever seen that match, genuinely.
Dude, it's dope. You should watch it after we're finished here or in the week or something. It's like 10 minutes, so it's barely anything.
Yeah, enough time. Yeah, interesting.
Let's finish the women's angle. So as a whole,
right,
obviously after the Charlotte match, she wins the title. Bayley cashes in. We were hoping maybe Bayley would cash in on Becky, but I'm happy with what they did because getting it.
The moment you said that, I freaked out because I'm like, that's it. That's what they need to do. That makes so much sense. They were gonna do. It makes so much sense. They've been playing with heel Bayley for like at least a year now. Ever since they had her tell Sasha she wasn't shit and then instantly be best friends with her and then tell her she loved her and then still just be friends.
Unhugging believable.
Yeah. God. They've been playing around with that for ages. It would make sense. It's something she needed. I thought all of a sudden it made sense with her promo earlier on the night where she's like, I'm always overlooked, man, but I'm always here. I'm just fighting all the time. I'm like, oh shit, okay. Maybe we could do something here. I quoted the initial New Day promo from like 2015 or whatever. The like, Bayley, it is time for us to take. Like, go get him. Like you've seen. Like,
oh man, do you remember?
You could also play with some.
Do you remember when New Day flopped hard? It's fucking great.
And they somehow like rose through that. It's probably one of the greatest like comebacks from a failed like introduction I can think of in wrestling.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they literally in like in time of like 6 months went from terrible baby faces to amazing heels to really over faces. And it was
take the whole journey from debut to Kofi at Mania, and that's a hell of a fucking story, for sure.
That's insane.
Yeah. But anyways, so you were talking about Becky cashing in maybe on Becky, but she did it on Charlotte instead, which was still a really well worked segment for sure.
I think that there's a story you can tell there about who was it whose friends always turn on her? Is that Becky? Whose friends always turn on her, or was that?
I'm thinking.
I don't remember.
I'm thinking either Becky, Sasha, or Natalia.
Might be Natalia. Now that I'm thinking about it.
I think Natalia's the girl who turns on everybody. I think Natalia turns on everybody. And I think it is Becky.
It's Becky, because then I thought it would be fun to have her turn on her, and then you could do a thing where Bailey's like, I don't know why you're mad. I'm doing what you did.
Then maybe you could run a lesbian angle.
Sure.
They've played with it.
Yeah, obviously.
But they didn't go in that direction, and I do think the direction they went in was fine. What do you think about what actually happened?
This is totally fine. I think you've got a decent SummerSlam match on the way. Hey, I'm just saying, Charlotte Naomi at SummerSlam is going to be real nice.
Charlotte Naomi.
I pray for Bailey. I'll pray for her tonight before I go to bed. I'll be like, please survive please survive the next week.
You're kind of right, because I now don't think they're doing Charlotte Lacey. I think they are doing Becky Lacey again. So maybe you are right. I can't predict anything. I'm pretty sure Jericho is facing Okada for the fucking title at Dominion. I think is that right?
Weird.
Do I remember that correctly?
Yeah, because isn't Jericho though signed full time to AEW? Like,
I don't think Jericho signs contracts. I think
he just literally walks in. He's like, "Hello,
hi.
I'm here for my match.
I have my own health insurance. I'm good. Just throw me in."
I would like to wrestle.
Look, I admire the hustle, even if I think he's really bad.
Yeah.
I was looking at the wrong Dominion card, and I got excited because it was Kenny Omega. I was very like, that'll be. And the fact that fucking Jericho has gotten me excited about not watching him and watching Best Bloat Machine instead is absolutely criminal. So yeah, the whole women's angle. So taken as a whole, what do you think about all three matches? The story, the angle, was it worth it? Was it worth it? What have we given for these stories, the scenes of Bayley cashing in, everything? Was it worth it?
What do you mean? Is it worth it? The being totally just destroyed for 2 years?
No, I don't mean that. I mean the show tonight. Instead of doing this Bailey thing, you could have split out the three matches. You could have had the case for the next year, and you could have done something else. Was this in the top 25% of options they had on the table?
I think so, and there was one thing that made me think so, and it was the reaction that Bailey got, and it brought me back to something that I think you've said before. I don't know where I've gotten it from. It might have been from you, that one night of good booking can wash away years of terrible booking. And when they reacted the way that she did when she won that belt, I was like, holy fuck, how the hell did we just do this? She's a fucking loser for 2 years. She just loses and cries and hugs people. And now she's champion. And she's in the crowd, and people are fucking chanting for her like she's the second most over women's babyface in the company.
She's won all the belts.
She's literally the best. No, she's not the best. She's literally, definitively, by definition, the greatest. Greatest being defined as number of things won.
Well, number is is because Charlotte hasn't won the tag title but has won the Divas title.
Oh damn!
Yeah, so it's equal even number of championships. So with Bayley, you got a caveat: very good at both tag team and singles wrestling.
Was never Divas champion though, so sorry.
She's not a diva though, which is a real underscoring
unfortunate
negative for her. Also, worth mentioning that when you look, ever since wrestling isn't wrestling, people like to do this a lot, and it doesn't justify WWE's booking. But if you do take a step back, there's a good story here that they've got the hero, right? The typical TV tropes. You got the hero and the ace. The ace is Charlotte. She's won everything and is really, really good. But in the background, we've got our hero, Bayley, who's literally won everything over the years. Slowly, and underdoggy, this was a total underdog night, right? Money in the Bank, cash in, same night. So, like, underdoggy, she's won the Raw Women's title. That was a huge deal at the time. She won the fucking tag titles at the Elimination Chamber. That was a big story. Like, every time she has been at the top, it has been the center of the show. And they happened again tonight. And there's something to be said for that.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's weird to think that, like, as much as I've gone on about the fact that Bayley hasn't done shit for, like, the past 2 years, she walked into the first Mania after their women's evolution thing or whatever as champion. As the women's champion. Like, the WrestleMania, she walked into it as women's champion and defended against...
Which Mania was this?
Mania 33? 32?
I don't remember Bayley ever walking into a Mania.
Yeah, it was her versus Charlotte versus Sasha, I think.
Are you sure it wasn't Becky, Sasha, Charlotte?
Nope, I'm 99% sure it was Bayley. I would be shocked if I was wrong.
I see a 6-pack challenge for the women's. It was a 4-way. It was Bayley. You're right. She walked in as champion. Bayley. It was 30. Yes. It was 33. Bayley, Sasha, Charlotte, and Nia Jax.
Who you cut out on that one?
Nia Jax.
Nia Jax.
Yeah, I remember that one actually. I think
I don't remember Nia Jax, but that's weird.
It was an elimination match. I don't remember
God,
Bayley walking out as champion either. I don't.
No,
what happened in 33? Oh, it was Reigns Taker. Oh, people really like this show. Oh, this was a long show.
Oh, I was thinking.
I didn't watch this show. This is the
dude. That's so weird.
This is the only Mania. I remember this one, kind of. I think this is the only. There were 2 Manias that I just didn't watch live over the last 10 years, and this was one of them. It was this one and 34, where I was just done, and I didn't want to watch this one. And this was the Reigns Taker one, and then the Taker Shane one as well. I was like, I don't want to watch that live. So I
32 was part of what I was thinking of. Because I was thinking Charlotte, Becky, Sasha for the triple threat for the inaugural women's championship. I had the two of them mixed up in my mind.
I thought you were thinking of that one, but it was the year after they had a 4-way.
Huh. Weird, but it's just so weird because that's for the Raw Women's belt, right? That's the first time the Raw Women's belt was defended at Mania.
If you don't count the women's title as a lineage or something.
Yeah, which, you can debate that however the hell you want.
I like how on this show, 32, the League of Nations, who I had scrubbed from my memory banks, is appearing. Also, the Dudley Boys are on that card a year before the Hardys came back. That's a thing. Also, we have Team Total Divas and Team Bad and Blonde. Oh my God. Oh, and that's
2016 was the Dark Ages.
Hey, look, it was a really good year for wrestling. It was just the WWE that was, and even WWE was really good. It just started terribly because we had that Chris Jericho AJ Styles match that made us think, well, AJ's done, and then AJ went on to just tear it up with everybody else. So this women's match, you think it was worth it? A good segment. I really liked it, but I think I'm always going to be a little different when it comes to the babyface stuff. I think it's weird because 5 years ago I would have been on a different side for the babyface stuff. I would be like, we need more babyface stuff because WWE just hates babyfaces. But now they are a babyface territory again, which I think is good. But tonight I would have told a different story, and that's fine. That happens. I just think you get more value out of presenting those 3 matches separately rather than as an angle, and I also think you get more value of having the case for a year. I think Becky doing that shtick for a month, you could have got more out of that, but it was good. It was fine. I liked it. So what haven't we talked about that we want to talk about before the main event? Seth, AJ, we'll talk about in a second. Oh, Miz Shane we should talk about because we
of course
like those two. I was expecting this to be worse than the Mania match, and I think it was. But there was
Yeah,
still,
I would say so, yeah.
there was a lot in this that I'm like, am I going to look back at this in God knows how long and think, wow, how did I love this as much as I do? Because it was just so fucking good.
It was so much fun. I think that's probably the biggest word I can put on it. It was fun, man. Like,
Yeah.
this Shane Miz feud is so enjoyable for whatever reason.
It took you a while to come full circle on it, too, I think. Yeah, no, definitely.
It was that Mania match, man.
Yeah.
That Mania match was genuinely the best. Well, no, not the best match on that card. Dear God,
I think it was.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Bryan Danielson.
I have those two at equal because I do think they were both fucking great. Like, Shane Miz is right now, if I had to pick, not on numbers, but on like, if I had to put a ballot down, Shane Miz Mania is my match of the year. For sure.
It's the thing that I ended up saying. I forget who I said it to, or whether I said it to myself, or I thought I said it to you, or I was going to say it to you in my head and I didn't, or I did say it to you. I don't even remember. But I said, it's so weird that I've completely done, and I know it's definitely not him. I know it's not him, but it's so strange how I've done a complete 360 on Shane McMahon. I enjoy Shane McMahon. He's very good at what he does. And that's insane to say.
You know what? I thought in this, and this might help with your point a little bit, because I think you're reticent to give Shane credit, and I think this will help you not do that. When halfway through this match, I realized what I wanted to compare it to from recent years, and it was Rush La Park from last year, and that's because I think you could just throw a lot of people into Shane's position. Not everybody, but a lot of people into Shane's position have the same kind of thing. If you've got a guy like Miz or a guy like Rush on the other side who will carry this particular style of feud, very similar, not similar in principle, but not in delivery to the Dragon League Kamitachi stuff. Because that stuff has just one very simple conceit. We are going to do ridiculous shit because we hate each other, and we are willing to do ridiculous shit to beat each other. And the main conceit in the Rush La Park stuff and the main conceit in this Miz Shane stuff is that Miz fucking hates Shane. And that's literally the one concept, and because Miz is very, very good. He's really good. And this feud is going to be the thing that I will point to say, like, okay, he has a bunch of other stuff that's pretty good. Shane Miz shows why he's fucking great. And it's because he can put on physical storytelling, and he can put on verbal storytelling, and he can make it engaging. Like you said, it's fun, but it's also like, I don't know if I want to say deep, but it's got layers. It's like an onion.
Oh yeah.
So, and that Mania match, just the escalation of it was great, because you started off and it was slow and it was plodding, and then there was the escalating incident. You had that kind of catalyst, and then it just
you had George,
and then from there, Miz was like, escalate, and that's what I talk about with sprints and with spot matches, is that escalation is really important, and that's what that Mania match did. It was like every 5 minutes, Miz does something new, and you're like, whoa, this match has hit a new level. This one, the psychology was just perfect on it, right? Shane wanted to escape the cage, Miz didn't want to escape the cage, and they just played that conceit for like 15 minutes, and it was just so enjoyable to me to watch, like, the catharsis of Miz beating the ever-loving shit out of Shane McMahon. And everything they did was fine. There was a really shitty splash Miz did at one point, and obviously
that was terrible.
It was really bad, and people don't know how no DQ works still. So, you know, that was obviously awkward. Michael Cole's commentary. Also, all you agreed with this at the early part of the night. Commentary about ref botches, I'm not a fan.
I didn't notice it, but it happened at the end of the Lacey Becky match. They were like going on about like, Becky's shoulders were on the mat, and I'm like, just don't mention it. Like, I don't care.
The most egregious example of it was at Mania, the women's main event. Like,
oh god,
it was the main event of Mania, and during the celebrations, Graves was like, her shoulders weren't on the mat.
Corey Graves was like, oh, Becky Lynch is a fake champion. Fake wrestling is fake. And it was like, Corey, leave it alone.
Yeah, you're supposed to, the whole point of commentators is to cover that shit over. Like, it's
you don't go, that's a fuck up. They fucked up.
You're supposed to. And if you're willing to do that, you've either, like, I was talking to you about it, right? I like the idea of video assisted referee in wrestling. I think it could add something. And like, if you're gonna do that, do that. If you're going to point out mistakes, fix them. Make it part of the storyline. Just because at the moment, like what they were doing for years is that they would do like, okay, we're gonna cover over the ref mistakes, and it's not gonna be a part of the story. And then that one ref who fucks up is the story, like Earl Hebner, right? For the Bryan feud. Was it Hebner? I think it was Hebner, right?
The first time that I truly remember them doing weird shoot work ref stuff was the one that sticks out in my mind was the Brock Taker match where like Taker tapped out but he didn't or something
he taps on Brock.
Heyman yelled that like he tapped or something like that and the ref was like okay or whatever was supposed to happen. They never really explained it if I recall correctly. They just went the ref made a mistake or something and it was like what the fuck
they did
are you
they did that earlier than that with Bryan. If you remember, like, Bryan beat Orton at, like, Night of Champions 2000.
Oh, he quick count or something. Yeah.
It was, like, slightly quicker than average. The next night, they just stripped Bryan of the title. It's like, I think the storyline was that he was, like, in the Authority's pocket or something. So, that, like, because that was the one time they did it in the year. But if they're going to do it now, it just makes the refereeing team out to be just completely incompetent.
And there were, how many different occasions? There were, I think... 4 on this show.
We had Joe.
Their ref squad looked like morons.
Yeah, they had, like Joe. Yeah, one of the women's matches. Crap, my mind's going blank. But I think there were 4.
It was Joe, the women's match. Rollins, AJ, I'm pretty sure, or something like that.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure at least at one point they were like,
oh, they had the rope break moments. That's 4 if you count.
Shane and Miz. They were like, whoa, no rope break, but the rope break.
So yeah, just because I guess we're on podcast, I might as well put it down in audio form, even though I've said it a few times on Twitter over the years. No disqualification is not no rope break. If you get a rope break, you cannot be disqualified for keeping the hold on, but it is no longer a valid hold. Therefore, if someone taps or you get a 3 count during a hold that has been rope broken, it is not a victory, even though you can't get disqualified for holding it.
You can shatter their fucking ankle, but it doesn't matter. If they submit, they literally cannot. They'd have to let go of the ropes and then say, okay, I quit.
Even then, it has to be a new hold. Because you can get to the ropes and let go, and it's still broken. You have to make a new hold.
Yep.
And also, this didn't come up tonight, but it's come up before. The referee can physically try to break the hold. He's allowed to do that. He's a human being. If he wants to stop you from injuring him, he can do that. It doesn't mean it's part of the rules. He's just trying to break the hold because he's a fucking guy who wants to save someone's ankle, right? Like, that doesn't mean that he's saying you need to break the hold. He's saying, I want you to break the hold. Please, I'm begging you.
Also, it's something that you see, does Red Shoes do it all the time or whatever? Where he'll get up in the heel's business and be like, no. Get off of him. It makes sense for a referee to do that for 2 reasons. They're part of the company. They want to put on the best possible quality matches, and if a guy is hurt, that can't happen. And in the interest of, being a decent human being.
Yeah. So and look, you guys might not like that. You guys might think that all no disqualification matches should be the same. I personally like that if you're gonna play it down the line, no disqualification means a match with no disqualification. I would have countouts in no disqualification matches. I think no holds barred matches shouldn't involve chairs. Because chairs are not holds. You can just use illegal holds in no holds bars matches. That's what no holds bars matches is supposed to be.
I've always wondered why there are so many different names for hardcore matches.
I think street fights
hardcore, falls count anywhere, extreme
fights.
Rules, street fight, no hold barred. Like they're all the same match.
In WWE they are, but they do have different rules.
Aside from the fact that falls count anywhere, falls count anywhere.
Yeah, like in WWE they just treat it all the same, and that's why when fans see the rules not being applied, they're like, "Oh, it's not rules." But these matches should be different. Street fight's a little out there, but you generally you're supposed to be in street clothes. Like you said, go on.
Would you go with the idea that in a falls count anywhere match, if somebody got to the ropes and they tapped out, it would still count?
Because they count anywhere. Yeah.
Okay, I was going to say that would be that difference, wouldn't it be?
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say the fall. I mean, that one I think is up for debate, but I would say that in falls count anywhere, there's basically not a ring. The ring rules are gone. You don't count. So
right,
you're aren't the thing.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah, I would say that. Even if it's not. And obviously, in the indie, I don't think we've ever had one in the WWE. But outside of the WWE, no rope break matches are a thing, and they're just literally, there are disqualifications, there are countouts, but there are no rope breaks. And also, we got, of course, the extreme version of that is no ropes matches, which are pretty cool. Like, I think Evolve did one of those like 4 years ago or something. Like, those are really cool. So yeah, you've got 6 different no disqualification stipulations, you might as well make them different. And it's the same with like triple threat. I know it's hard, but I don't think there should be no DQs in a triple threat.
That's tough, just because how do you rule that in kayfabe, right? Like,
just calling them contests.
But is that fair to the third guy? No, but I guess that's just how it is.
But then you just run the feud where the next month you do another one, and then it's no DQ. Like, it just comes out like, that's not fair, and then the ref's like, okay, the guy who got disqualified is getting out of the feud. You two are going to fight in no DQ.
Yeah, I like that, actually. I was gonna say a closing piece on Shane Miz.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I think we mostly spent the time talking about the first match, but I think we had a piece on this one. You can finish, but I'll just quickly just say that I liked it a lot less than the Mania match. There were a lot of just other elements. It was more of a kind of package. It was a clean package, and maybe I'll actually like it more on other viewing. I just think steel cages in WWE are usually really bad. So the fact they got the psychology right today was quite impressive for me. There's a few work issues, but I liked it. What about you?
I was just gonna say, when I first started watching wrestling, however the hell I caught on, I think I talk about this all the time, right? Start of 2011. What a great year to get into the business. Getting into the business. What the hell am I?
You could have waited at least a year when everybody else came back.
I could have waited like 6 months even for Punk to happen. No, but when I came in or whatever, Miz was champion. And it's so weird because I took to that character very quickly because he was, in my eyes, like the reverse underdog story. He was this nobody who everybody really thought shouldn't be in his spot, probably because he was probably really shit at the time. But, I got my Dave Bautista rose-tinted glasses on. I remember that entire time thinking that everything that Miz did on the mic was fucking great. And that was in his weird, like, I really don't know what I am, but I'm awesome. So fuck you guys kind of thing. And they kind of played with the idea that, hey, I'm from MTV. I'm not supposed to be here. I'm a fucking Hollywood guy, you wrestling shit marks or whatever. And it was like, what? I didn't really get it at the time. But seeing him coming into wrestling, I guess, and saying, like, because one of the first guys that I ever really was like, I think I like him, was The Miz. And seeing him develop into something where I'm proud to say that I liked him from that early on. Because he's really fucking good. It's amazing how good he's gotten, and I think he was already really good at promo stuff, but ever since adding the Hollywood thing to his character, he's found himself so well. I think, of course, his face promos are still lacking. I hated when they turned him face in 2013 or whatever, and he just became a guy. I think he's always better as a heel, but tonight I think showed again the fact that The Miz is really, really fucking good at so many different things. I don't think he'll ever get a main event run again. Like, I don't think they'll ever put the belt on him. I think there's just too many people around there who they value a lot more than him.
I'll say this, I agree with you. I would, though. On Raw especially. I would
love to see them do one, but I don't think they will.
I agree with you. I'm just saying that, like, as a guy who's been, like, maybe I'm average on The Miz. Maybe I'm average or I skew low compared to most people. I don't know. I'm not high. I'm definitely not as high on him as you are for obvious reasons, because you obviously have a personal connection. But, and again, I'm also lower on the Raw guys than most people, right? So that makes sense. But, like, I would definitely just give him a run. Just because, I mean, he's been great. He deserves it. He definitely deserves it.
That's basically all I was going to say. I think he definitely deserves one. And I think when you look back at this decade, and when he goes into the Hall of Fame, he'll probably go down as the guy who got that main event run way too early. And I'll admit that, even as a guy who liked most of his early stuff, even though I know the matches weren't particularly great. but he's really the unsung hero of this roster. He's a great heel, a really quite solid worker, a great promo, and I'm really, really fucking glad he found Shane McMahon and that this is happening.
We definitely, I think, if we do shows later this year and we don't watch a ton of current stuff, because we're not watching a ton of current stuff right now, then we should probably, there's a show to be done, deep diving his matches and see exactly where he is. But I genuinely think his generation, WWE guys, on in-ring work alone, I think he cracks top 10 WWE guys.
Oh, I'd say so.
Yeah. I think there's 3 guys of this generation that are well out there, or four guys that are in this generation that are well out there in terms of in-ring stuff. It's Cena, Reigns, Bryan, and AJ. And I think everyone else, like out of everybody else, Miz might be my number 1 out of everybody else in WWE over this generation. Like maybe not, but that's why I said top 10. He defo cracks top 10 for sure. I mean, Brock's up there too, I guess, but he's not. I don't think Brock's on the level of those 4. Like those 4 of this generation, I genuinely think in terms of men's as well. I mean, I don't know if I would give the women. I don't know if I would get the women that high just on main roster stuff. If you obviously like Bayley and Sasha's 2015 is crazy, but that's not main roster stuff. So, but yeah, I'd say those 4. Outside of those 4, Miz is really up there. I don't think Miz is on that level of those 4. I mean, what do you think? What do you think of those 4? Are you the same, or do you have other people that come close?
Those 4 guys, it's interesting that you said, like, WWE guys, and I'm guessing you're taking that as, like, WWE workload, because you were like, WWE guys, and you said Daniel Bryan, and I went, oh, wow, are we really calling him, like, a Fed guy? And then you said AJ, and I went, oh, okay, he means, like, just total work in the Fed.
And even that, like, if we're talking, like Bryan's been fucking in WWE for, like, 9 years now.
Oh, yeah, that's why I kind of accepted that, but went, and then you said AJ, and I went, oh, okay, light bulb went off in my head.
You were right. It's about WWE workload when I was thinking about it. But there is an argument to be made that by far AJ's best work is in the WWE. I think it's very close between that first New Japan year, because he had a very good first New Japan year. But his TNA, I really didn't rate his TNA stuff. And I go back sometimes and I'll watch the early 05, 06 X Division stuff that people rave about, and for me, it's nowhere near what he did this decade.
Very, very interesting there. I would say probably similar, though. I think those 4 guys are, I think, far and above everybody else. I'm trying to think of anybody who could even try to scrape there, and I can't.
For me, the guy that comes close is Brock. What do you think about him?
Brock, I think he could almost certainly get there. I can't think of a Brock Lesnar match that I full on. Oh, Goldberg.
Triple H.
Oh, Triple H. Oh, Undertaker.
Yeah, the problem with the Brock stuff is that his lows are really low.
But I think that's mostly on his opponents.
It is, but even Cena got a really good match out of fucking Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, that's fair.
And even though this isn't in this decade, Cena's 2007 was ridiculous. He got 4+ star matches out of Bobby Lashley and the Great Khali. That's green as fuck, Bobby Lashley, and also the Great Khali, and he also had like a classic, like probably the best Last Man Standing ever in January 2007 with Umaga. Like that Last Man Standing was ridiculous. This is 2007 John Cena, and his 2007 is crazy.
Is that the year he buried Edge in front of fucking Toronto?
2006. Was Unforgiven 2006.
I'm still angry about that.
I really like John Cena, and I'm still angry about that.
It makes no sense.
No. It was crazy. It was crazy because they did the one night stand stuff for Unforgiven because it was the same year, right? So all the media, like the RVD did in the build up to One Night Stand. It was like this is the homecoming. This is the big night for this guy, and they had
this is Edge's night.
Yeah,
it's time to ascend to the main event.
And I guess because Vince didn't have the balls to do it for One Night Stand. Because I think John Cena might have died. He did it in Toronto instead, where they're like, "Oh, hey, sorry."
Hey, man, that made me feel pretty bad there, eh? Why did you do that? I don't mean to get so hostile about it, eh? I'm sorry if you're feeling kind of intimidated, but
So going back to the modern day, we like Miz. This match is really good. I think we got two. Oh, that's right. Before we move on to the last,
God. Oh yeah, I saw it too. Ooh.
So before we move on to the last two matches, not sure if we're talking about the same thing. I don't want to talk about it, so I'll let you if you want. Tony Nese Davari.
Yeah, this match definitely happened. Tony Nese is the weakest cruiserweight. Oh, Enzo, the second weakest cruiserweight champion they've had in terms of build and in-ring work resume. This guy was a literal nobody on this roster until a couple months ago when they decided you are the next guy with the belt. Arya Davari has been like that, but even worse. He has been a total jobber on the 205 Live brand for the majority of its run. I think his biggest push came when he was Enzo's second in command. He bankrolled the Zoe train. I thought there was money in that, by the way. I thought it was kind of a fun idea, kind of a really stupid fun idea.
You weren't the only one. I wasn't on the Zoe train, but I know a lot of people were.
I thought the idea of building around Enzo's mic skills made sense, and having the idea that, hey, I've got a guy with all this money who can just hire a whole bunch of protection for me was a kind of decent idea. But aside from that, and after that, he's done literally nothing. I don't know why these two are fighting each other. I don't know what Arya Davari has done to get a title match. I didn't care about this. It was very meh. Arya Davari is not that great at pro wrestling, and Tony Nese is not that great at pro wrestling. Back to you in the studio.
I have stuff to say about 205 Live, but honestly, I think we can save that for another day. And you summed up what was going on with this match perfectly, so I'm not going to add to it. It was there. I don't think it was awful. I'm not going to add. I don't want to add. You summed it up great. So yeah, that was the match. So before the main event. Oh wait, no. Do we have to? Did we cover AJ Seth, or have we covered it?
We have not covered
either of
AJ
the title
Seth.
Matches.
Either of the title matches or the men's Money in the Bank.
That's it. Okay, cool. Which title match do you want to start with?
You want to just go in order?
I don't remember the order, so sure.
Seth, AJ first.
Okay. Oh, was it? Okay. I really don't remember the order then. Seth, AJ, what some people are going to have really liked that match. Now,
I'm certain.
Your commentary got sparse towards the end on Discord. At the start, you were like you weren't into it, but you didn't really say much towards the end, and it felt like you might have turned on it. So I want to know which devil's advocate I need to play. What did you think?
I've really started to tune this match out. It's kind of everything that a Seth Rollins match is. It's kind of doing mildly cool spots for no real reason. Occasionally, I think AJ at one point locked in the calf crusher, and then Seth was like, my leg hurts, and then that was gone by like the end of the match. This match was very boring, in my opinion.
So, I wasn't super into it, but there were a lot of really cool sequences. It's one of those matches where I think actually this felt more like an AJ Styles match than Seth Rollins match, because
it's interesting.
It started. This is very much the formula that he's been doing the last like 2 years or so, where it's like we'll just start slow, we'll do a lot of technical stuff because people really like that, and then we'll build some sequences into the end. One of the spots that I talked about at the start of the show where they just randomly bumped crazy was a fucking reverse Falcon Arrow that they just pulled out randomly, and I saw them setting up for it, and I was like, just don't do this. Don't do this. This is stupid. and like, it's so horrible because I hate the Falcon Arrow. It makes no sense at all. Seth's taking the same bump. Actually, on the reverse Falcon Arrow, did you see this spot, by the way, or are you tuned out by then?
No, I don't even remember that spot, which is weird, because I remember you saying, why did they do that? And then I was like, what happened? What? So I don't remember this, at all.
You know the Falcons Arrow, right?
Yes.
He did a reverse. So do you know the old school Bloody Sunday? The one where he just does basically a fucking reverse vertical?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they did it off the top rope. And then not only did they do that, the reverse vertical off the top rope, right? Seth takes the bump and then rolls through and does another reverse vertical.
Why? Because there were some moments I picked up on that kind of got me interested again. Near, I think, the beginning, middle, or whatever, when I was still kind of interested, they teased a Styles Clash to the floor, which you knew immediately was not going to happen. I think Seth from there did like back-to-back suicide dives. There were a couple near falls later on. That's kind of
I
my
think they had a
commentary
near,
of the
I think
match.
they had a near fall in a Styles Clash at some point.
They did, yeah.
And they put some sequences together. It was worked quite fast. Some people who think Seth Rollins had an amazing 2018 are going to have loved this match because it was that, but with some structure. Like,
Yep.
I don't love the structure. I don't think AJ's structure these days is great, but I presume that's all he can do anymore, and that's fine. I'm willing to accept that. I don't think we're ever going to get peak AJ anymore. I do think this. I'm higher on the Shinsuke stuff than most people are. But I don't think we're ever going to get peak AJ anymore, and that's fine. People who are into this stuff are going to really have liked this match. I'm with you. I think it was placed poorly. I think it was kind of just there, and it didn't explode. And that's the thing. Like we're people are gonna, if people actually watch this show, which of course they don't, people would lampoon us for putting the Miz Shane match miles above this, right? But like with Miz Shane, there's something to like there, right? There's something to cling on to. There's a selling point. And I just think with AJ and Seth, there's nothing about AJ versus Seth that is any better than any of the other Seth Rollins matches or any of the other AJ matches. Neither of these, and people said they had good chemistry. I don't disagree, but there was nothing about this matchup that made either man better. They didn't bring out anything new or anything better from each other. They just mashed their formulas together and had a match. And for people who like the formulas, they're going to like the match.
I didn't mean to cut you off. I apologize there, but I had a brief thought. It felt like a Raw main event with some extra time added to it.
Yeah, no, I actually agree with that, and I'm going to flip it and say it felt like a SmackDown main event with double time. And they did nothing with the extra time.
I forget that Raw main events are all like 6-man tag team matches that are kind of just thrown together featuring Baron Corbin.
I think your comp was right, but like, this felt much more like if you cut half off of this, you could make a really good SmackDown match. Because they do these kind of matches on SmackDown all the time. They did Bryan versus AJ on it, stuff like that.
My first thought when you mentioned like that intangible thing that puts Shane and Miz over Rollins and AJ, the very first thing that came to me is that there's something behind Shane Miz. Like there's a story here. Why are Seth and AJ fighting? Because they both want to be champion. I guess that's a fine storyline, but it doesn't make sense why they're trying to kill each other with their crazy, like, reverse Falcon arrows and doing Styles clashes to the outside. The two of them shook hands after the match. Like, they shouldn't be attempting to murder one another.
Yeah, and you can pull something out of it probably, but the thing with the physical storytelling is that Miz and Shane have that idea of what they want to do, and that's why they can convey it so easily in the ring. You don't have to have watched, and you didn't for the first half of the feud, you don't have to have watched any of the promo stuff to get Miz Shane on a physical level. But with Seth, AJ, they just don't have anything on a physical level. At least not that stands out to us. And if you'd ask people that really liked the match, they probably wouldn't give you a story either.
No, they would say this is about two guys wrestling to be the best, which, sure, that's a story, but it's nothing that you can work into a matchup, and that leaves you with literally just the two guys having their own types of matches and needing to put them together.
Well, I think you can do that. They just didn't.
That's fair, because you can tell a story about desperation. You know what I mean?
Well, I think that story that you just described, two people fighting to just prove that you're better at wrestling, is the John Cena CM Punk in-ring story. And that's the best CM Punk feud, for sure, in the ring. Like, you can watch John Cena CM Punk without watching any of the amazing promos, and you'd get it. You can watch John Cena, AJ. Almost all of John Cena's good feuds are exactly what you just described, because he's really good at that. Whereas that's not AJ's story, and that's definitely not Seth's story.
Probably my biggest problem with this match, outside of everything, is that I find Seth Rollins really boring. That 2015 run soured me so much on him, and he has never recovered from that in my eyes. Even when they turned him face and they allowed him to start doing kind of more flippy stuff, I always see him as ha 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 ha. And I'm always like,
Yeah, I think I'm higher on him, I think, which feels weird. for Seth Rollins because I hated him in 2015 too. I do think he's recovered a good bit. I watched his 2018 stuff people raving about. Didn't like it as much as them. I liked it. I thought it was good. I think he still, the one flaw he still suffers from 2015 is that he still thinks length is just beneficial. And this Seth Rollins is a guy that if he wrestles 8-minute matches every single time, he'd be really fucking good. I don't know about really. There's just Seth Rollins doesn't have charisma. I'll say
No,
it.
no, not at all.
So,
Dude's a bull.
yeah, there's just something missing from him in that regard, and that's why I just can't get in. Like Will Ospreay is a good counterexample. Will Ospreay, Seth Rollins, obviously they have different skill sets because they're in different environments. If you stick Seth Rollins in Will Ospreay's fucking circuit, he probably becomes Will Ospreay from a technical perspective.
Yeah.
But Will Ospreay, look, people can criticize him for overacting sometimes. He acts. He has charisma.
Yeah.
There's something to him, and that's why he's most people's consensus indie superstar right now.
Dude, you saying that, I don't know if I've ever seen Seth Rollins, express anything in a match. Aside from,
he's gifable because his face is so funky, right? You see, confusion and amazement, but never something
The main kind of facial that sticks out of my mind is when he beat Brock in the Money in the Bank Mania thing or whatever, and he was like, whoa, and he threw his hands around or whatever and freaked the fuck out, which
and that might be
that
what
was
people like
actually
about
interesting.
him because he's kind of real, but at the same time I don't think Seth Rollins the guy is particularly interesting, but I think to some people because he's he does feel authentic, and I think there's something to that.
Yes.
We'll have a lot of time.
Seth Rollins plays Seth Rollins.
I think we'll have a lot of time over the next year to talk a lot about Seth Rollins. So we'll move on to Kofi versus Kevin Owens. This is exactly what I thought Kofi Kingston WWE champion would look like. I'm not sure about you.
I thought it was better than the last match.
Wow. Okay. I didn't.
I think that might just be because I think Kevin Owens is pretty good, but this is another one definitely where I was bored out of my tree watching this. There was definitely this kind of dead spot here, I think, after, and I think you even mentioned it with the crowd or whatever, where kind of Bailey was my peak, and then Roman Elias happened, and I was like, oh, this is kind of boring. And then we went right into a massively long Seth AJ match, and I went, oh no. And then by the time Kofi Kevin hit, I was already basically out of this. I can name a couple spots. I have looked up and I've watched the finish.
Both missed the
it
finish.
Makes no sense.
I was putting laundry and I came back and Tucker was like, "Oh, I missed the finish. Who won?" And I was like, "I missed the finish too."
Yeah, I changed. I started watching basketball on my TV because I felt my team's in the playoffs or whatever. So it was more important to me in that moment than your podcast. I'm sorry.
How dare you?
Very important game.
At least one person will watch this.
The one person is like, damn you.
Nah, it's fine. I did the same. I thought I don't. If you want to talk about the match, we can talk about the match. But I just want to talk about the whole thing because to me, this is just what I expected from this title reign for sure. Did you watch the intro video to the match?
I did, yeah.
That looks awful.
I've been loosely following it because I'm subscribed to the WWE's YouTube channel, mostly so then I can just kind of see what's going on, loosely follow it, and I've heard
if there's
through
a lesbian angle that pops up, then you want.
Yeah, I'm like, what's Bailey doing this week? Have they ever gone in with that? No, okay, I'll go back to my tree.
Do you live in a tree now? You mentioned the tree twice now.
Have I? Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know I mentioned that twice. Interesting.
You mentioned it just now, and then you mentioned at the very start of this segment, you mentioned you were bored out of your tree.
Oh, wow, you're right. Huh, I do live in a tree now, I think. Okay. It's a tree on my, whatever it was, my ranch or whatever it is.
Yeah, your estate.
My state. Have you seen the finish of this match, or do you know of the finish?
Well,
because it makes no sense.
I kind of did, but I don't remember it not making sense. Do you want to describe it?
Kofi Kingston takes off his shoes and then hits a Trouble in Paradise and wins. Because that makes it more effective or something.
Okay. I mean, I'm not too, it probably is as effective, They probably didn't.
I don't care enough to be like really angry about it. It's just weird to me. Like, why? Like,
I mean, there's a cool moment in I think it was last year in one of the football cups over here. After if everything's level after all 120 minutes, you take penalties, you take kicks basically, and everybody had scored or missed, right? And it was all the way down to the goalkeepers because everybody else had missed or scored, right? And the goalkeeper saves the penalty, and then the penalty from the other goalkeeper, and then has to take his own. And before he takes his own, he takes off his gloves as if, I'm not going to need to put these back on. I'm a score. And then he does score. And just the way you described that reminded me of that moment. Like, I'm not going to need these shoes anymore. This match is over. And he just hits it.
it would be like that, but the commentary sells it as if, you know, Kofi Kingston, he doesn't have those boots on, and thus the Trouble in Paradise is so much more effective. It's not like a confidence
his
thing.
feet are disgusting.
Like, no, I give up. I'm done. No more.
No mas. Yeah, so, like, I'll ask you this question before we move on. Should Kofi have won at Mania?
He should have, because it was right for the storyline, but
Should Kofi have dropped the belt
I regret
the
it.
next night?
It's probably the right call to do something like that, you know? But, like, you know? I'm gonna say this. Kofi Kingston had the pleasure of fighting Daniel Bryan. And now he isn't fighting Daniel Bryan.
That's a very good point.
And that's pretty much all I have to say about
excellent
that.
Point. Also, before we wrap up the segment, I do want to mention that twice I've had this inkling in me when I talked about that video package before the match, where I felt like if I was watching the product, I might have actually really liked that, because there are pieces of it that might work. The problem is WWE video packages usually make things look way better than they were, and I still wasn't too into it, so I'm a little worried. That's why I was like, oh god, that looks awful. But SmackDown has a way of making those segments work, so I'm just going to give it the benefit of the doubt on that regard. Match was trash, though. I don't like Kevin Owens as much as you do. At all. I think he was one of, like, his NXT title reign was the death.
I think that was
the
abysmal.
death knell of that brand. I don't think he's gotten better since. I think he's like the Cena feud was like the peak, and he's gone down. So I
would agree with that, but I think he's, ever since coming back from injury, he's been a little bit more interesting than he was before.
Fair.
And maybe that's all that it is.
Yeah, I haven't seen a ton of it, so that's fair. I'm mainly talking about it as an in-ring guy, so
that's fine.
That's probably where the difference lies. I'd say that one really good, I think it was Payback, Sami Zayn match that I really liked. Aside from that, I think he's bad, so I'd like it if he could stop getting title matches, please. And can we just do Bryan versus everybody on the roster? Please,
he should definitely be far away from the title. Yeah. He should not be near the world title, that is. Yeah. He can fuck around in the IC belt. I don't really care what happens there. That's fair.
Main event, ladder match. Whoa. This was another one where they did a really stupid bump where I'm pretty sure Andrade was the guy doing it, right? The sunset part?
Onto Balor, yeah.
Yeah. Andrade, I think, took a fucking heavy fucking leg bump right before Balor hit as well. Ladders are stupid.
Don't play with ladders, children.
Jesus Christ, you people. Like, I can't believe they still do ladder matches. Hell in a Cells are probably a lot safer than fucking ladder matches. Even when you get thrown off.
Oh, certainly.
Like,
certainly.
Oof. I hate it. And they're wooden, aren't they? They paint them. The WWE ones. I swear they're wooden. And
are they?
I've heard that before, but maybe they are metal. Either way, that's fucking awful. This wasn't, like, the crowd was gone. Nobody's ever going to remember that match because of the finish. So why would you do that? Nobody's ever going to remember either. That's one comment I'll say about the two ladder matches that we didn't mention. I wanted to mention it in the women's match. Neither of these ladder matches anyone will remember as good Money in the Banks. Like, when you think about good Money in the Banks, you'll never think of these two.
No, not at all. This was, I quite literally, before coming on here, was talking to some people about it, and I said, those matches in my head were a lot of weird spots that were kind of fun in the moment. Nothing I will ever remember.
Yeah.
That's it. Nothing I will ever remember. Nothing that's going to stick out in my mind. Say, oh, do you remember in 2019, the Money in the Bank ladder match when, I don't know, Drew McIntyre suplexed the guy onto the thing? Remember that? Whoa. No.
Yeah, I mean, if you have anything else to say about the match, go ahead, but I'm happy to just move on to the finish.
There were a couple of brief moments where I thought Baron Corbin had done it, and I was very excited. I was freaking out. I was like, Corbin, go! Achieve your dreams!
Yeah, we were talking before the show about potential Corbin having the case for a year. And we were thinking he would have the case, and he would be the first Money in the Bank guy ever where it would expire, because he'd just carry it around, and it would never be mentioned. Or maybe he'd keep... Oh, didn't he have a thing? Oh, it was Kane. That was what I was about to say. So he'd have it in the office, on like a podium, like Kane's mask when Kane was with the Authority. Like, it'd just be there.
Oh, yeah.
And Baron would be talking with a champion, and then he'd give him a raise of an eyebrow, and he'd look towards the case and be like, but it never gets cashed in. Babyfaces would steal it. There'd be no explanation. It'd be back. Babyfaces would throw it into the Gulf of Mexico. Baron would reveal it had a fishing line attached. He'd reel it in, and Chavo's clinging onto the case.
I love that spot where Chavo's just there now. They hire back Chavo, the keeper of the case, Chavo Guerrero.
The keeper of the Gulf.
He floats around it. He's like Gollum with the ring, but with the case. So he just hangs out with it.
My precious Money in the Bank.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, that's not the direction they went with. They decided to put the case on Brock Lesnar. What do you think, Tucker? Twitter didn't like it.
Listen, I very much... Brock Lesnar's a good wrestler. His booking sometimes grinds my gears. But...
Tell me what else
he's a
grinds
good wrestler.
your gears.
What grinds my gears is the fact that as a world, we can't take care of all people, despite having the funds to do so. Anyways.
Okay, stop talking crap. Let's get back to John Cena. Brock Lesnar.
Beat up the Mexicans, Lars. I mean the Chicagoans. Chicagoans.
Look, I liked Salida del Puesta del Sol as much as the next guy.
Yeah, but Brock winning doesn't really make any sense to me.
I like it.
What's that?
I like it. I don't think there was a better option.
I'm sure you liked it.
How dare you, sir?
But it's just weird because maybe it's because they leaked the thing, or they said they leaked the thing, or whatever, where they were like, this year Money in the Bank, we're very concerned about using it to make new stars. We realize, we've kind of messed up in the past with these, but we're really about making new stars. So I thought, okay, you need to make a new star. That's either Andrade, Ali, McIntyre, or the other guy.
How is McIntyre making a new star?
Because he hasn't been main event. He's not.
Like saying putting the case on fucking Bad News Barrett would have been making a new star.
No, but it's somebody you could go forward with in the main event scene, right? That's just the idea I'm thinking of, right? Like somebody who you could put in the main event scene, they could kind of stick around there, and it would be reasonable. And congratulations, you've made somebody who you can put on a pay-per-view.
Am I the only one who just thinks he's awful?
McIntyre? No, I probably think he's awful. I just want to see him in the main event picture because they've been touting him to the fucking rooftops, and I'm like, just do it! Just fucking do it! And they won't, and I'm angry about it. Because I think Drew is very interesting when they make him interesting, and when he's not, he's very boring.
For me, he's been interesting once in his career, and it really wasn't him. It was the Evolve Invasion angle. I had nothing to do with that being good.
Yeah, no, my like for Drew McIntyre is almost certainly misplaced.
Nah, I think a lot of people like him. I wouldn't go that far.
No, but I couldn't name the thing that makes me like him. I think he looks kind of cool, maybe. He's got a good look to him. I'm Vince McMahon. Me and Vince used to be one and the same. I don't get him now, though. I talk about that all the time. We've lost each other along the way.
He's evolved, and you've stayed stuck in the past.
Yeah. He's now all about these newfangled wrestlers. I'm like, where's Kane? What are you doing with Kane next? He's finally coming around with that Saudi show. Goldberg, Undertaker. Perfect. That's something people will pay to see.
Mwah.
Saudis are going to eat that up.
So let's
not like they have much to eat anyways.
Let's agree on the presumption that Drew McIntyre is a new star. You thought that they were going to use it to make a new star. I don't think any of those. Look, I'm biased because I fucking hate the main event scene, but like those guys are going to make a difference, and I think this was different. I think that when look, if he turns up tomorrow and cashes in, then well, that was pretty shit. But if it takes a little while, like there's always
if he stays away, ooh,
like because I don't, it's going to be on a pay-per-view, I think. So probably SummerSlam at the very earliest, surely. So like you've got like when Brock's music hits, like that's a thing, and now it's even more of a thing because he's got the case.
Oh no, Putty.
What? It's Brock. It's Brock Reigns at Mania. Yes, it's Brock Reigns at Mania. You should know this.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Brock is winning the title and Reigns is winning the Rumble. Yes, completely.
God, please.
And you know what the best part is?
Vince, just do it this time.
You know what the best part is? Brock's gonna win at Mania.
I was gonna say, Vince, no, just do it. Just do it. It's everything that we talk about, or I guess you've talked about since it happening at 31. We've been stuck for the past 5 years in this infinite fucking loop of Reigns gets to the goalpost, fails, but he builds his way back and fails, and he builds his way back and fails, and builds his way back and fails.
And then Seth
but they keep talking but they keep saying, like the show keeps saying, and the people watching it keep saying, Roman Reigns wins all the time. Roman Reigns is a fucking loser when it comes to winning the big one. Like,
there's two things I want to talk about with this Brock thing that I think are interesting. First of all, I think it's the SmackDown title, which I think is good because him beating Kofi is going to be a lot of heat.
Oh, so much heat.
Yeah. And Reigns is on SmackDown. And I think, and this is weird, I think they have, Seth has gotten rid of Brock in that regard. And I think because that was Brock's first big clean loss to a full timer in a very long time at Mania. I think
that needs to feel final.
Yeah, but I also think it was sort of a mistake you've got to own. They fucked it up with Reigns. They decided to say fuck it, Seth's gonna get the heat, and now Seth's gotta get that heat. He's gotta do something with it, and they can't just put it back on Brock, Money in the Bank or not. So either Roman's gonna Either Roman's gonna beat Seth, and then Reigns is gonna get cashed in on by Brock, or Brock wins the SmackDown title, and then Brock Reigns SmackDown title Mania. That's one part, which I think is quite interesting, because going on the SmackDown route, I think is quite interesting, especially since the Fox deal kicks in the autumn, right? So that's gonna be if he catches in at Survivor Series, for example, that's a good time for Brock to be the SmackDown champion if they want to use it for Fox ratings, which won't happen, by the way, because as has been proven throughout time, Brock doesn't draw money. Maybe he will on Fox. New market. That's actually a good market for him. He's done quite well on Fox and other endeavors.
Oh yeah.
But the other interesting thing, and it's not likely, but it's possible, is I'm still gearing for that WrestleMania Brock Daniel Cormier match that I think is going to just be a fucking clusterfuck of epic proportions. You're looking at who Daniel Cormier is.
No. I was messaging somebody. I know very well who Cormier is.
Because I know DC's totally into it. I just don't know if it's going to come together.
He's talked all the time about I want to do wrestling.
I think he wants to do comms though. He's old.
Yeah, which is weird. But Vince will talk him into wrestling when he gets on comm.
Yeah.
He'll be like, "Oh, you ever want to get in there?" And he's like, "No." And he's like,
"What about main eventing
sure?
WrestleMania for $5 million?"
What if I give you all of my Saudi money?
That's a lot of money. He has a lot of Saudi money. He's got to launder it first. Come on now.
Oh yeah, you're right.
But yeah, no, okay. I think I've said my piece. We've talked about Brock a lot on the show. I don't need to hammer it in that I think he's good for I like Brock for product reasons, not for business reasons. I think he's shit at the business side, and he's really good for the product. Most people find that weird, but I've talked about it enough that I don't need to describe it again. I think this is interesting. I think this is different. I think this is fresh. People are going to troll on Twitter, including one prominent pro wrestler who has no right trolling other people for being old and still wrestling. Yeah, so people are going to troll on Twitter.
Say names. No one's gonna attack you. Nobody.
New Japan Wolfpack guy. The number one contender to the IWGP Heavyweight Championship.
God, I forgot he bangs on about they're taking our opportunity, and it's like you're one of them.
Yeah, like come on, bro. But yeah, I think it's interesting. I think it's fresh. I think, look, it could have been Orton. And I'm not one to say, well, it could have been worse. Sure, it could have been better. I'm not sure Ali does that well with it from a content perspective. Who are the other guys you said? You said Ali, you said Drew.
Drew, Andrade, Ricochet. That was my 4. I don't think any of them were ready for that necessarily. Yeah. But I think Drew was the most ready. Do you know what I mean? To make a jump.
I definitely agree with that. I just think he's awful, and I'm glad. I'm much happier with Brock than Drew. That's my piece. I think it's interesting. Tucker, you're gonna have the consensus opinion, so why don't you close it off with yours?
Yeah. You just mean on the match in general, or
the Brock decision, and what it means.
Oh, the Brock decision. I felt like I already kind of touched on that, but I'll say it again more or less.
I thought you were going to disagree, but if you want to agree, feel free.
I mean, I think having it on Brock is the wrong call. I think there are a couple different people you could put it on and have a lot more interesting opportunities to do with, but Vince is very, very set, obviously, on Brock beating Reigns. So,
before you finish, I want you to finish. I want you to finish, but I want to mention something, and I don't want it to be the final thing. Brock's never won it, right? Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank?
Yeah.
He's never been in it.
Yeah. So, also, it's worth mentioning that, for whatever problems I have with him and what other people have with him, he's a WWE legend, and he deserves to probably have won everything.
Oh, I mean, undoubtedly. I mean, he's a WWE legend. I think that he was a legend before this most recent run, just his 2-year run or whatever in the early 2000s is there's a reason why people refer to it as a Goldberg or Lesnar push.
Fucking Eddie Guerrero match was so good.
Yeah, and it's because when you've got somebody who's really fucking good, you go all in on him. Or at least that's how it used to be. I don't know how it works now.
Nowadays, if you've got someone who's really good, you put them in a feud with someone who's really shit. You convince the
audience, here, Randy.
Yeah, you convince the audience that really good guy's really shit, and then you push him anyway, and then you decide to make him lose all his big matches, but still over push him, put him in prominent positions so he's over pushed, but he loses all the time. That's, I think, how you push people these days.
That makes sense to me.
Just have a guy main event Mania 4 years in a row, but lose every title match for that period. Perfect.
Except for one, thank you.
Yeah, against Triple H.
I was to say, he beat Triple H, and last time I checked, Triple H was the greatest wrestler ever.
Putting those young kids over since he started that NXT.
I made Roman Reigns.
Wrap us up. Give us a closing on everything. Brock, the whole show.
This show, all in all, is not worth watching. Don't go out of your way if you are not going to watch this already to watch it. You could have some fun with Shane and Miz, but unless you're like us and you really think that those two are doing phenomenal work, if you really like the WrestleMania match, then sure, go and watch Shane and Miz Steel Cage on this show.
It's a reasonable straight-to-DVD sequel.
On the Shane McMahon versus Miz, the collection or whatever.
Yeah. It'll be fun.
Rivalries.
In the Shane McMahon Miz collection, this match will be on first, and then the Mania match will be on last.
It's about right, isn't it?
I'll finish off the show by saying. Did you have more?
I was just gonna basically just say, aside from that, don't go out of your way. Don't bother. if you know the results, which you do if you've watched this show, you're good. Go about your life.
Yeah, I'll say, like, my main takeaway from this show, babyface territory, and that's a good thing. I agree. I don't think it's a show worth watching. I would watch the Miz Shane stuff. I would also watch all 3 women's matches. I think they're worth it. So, yeah, I'll leave it at that. Thank you all for watching. Feel free to disagree before we end off.
I was just say, I don't know if I say all 3 are worth watching, but as a package, you can't watch one without the other 2. So I guess I end up agreeing with
I think it's like 30, 40 minutes. Like, it's not an absurd amount of time.
Yeah.
And like you said, I think they come together. So, yeah, that was the show. We might be back for... what, like, is there a show before SummerSlam?
Saudi Showdown, baby. On at, like, noon my time. Oh,
I think there's a real show before SummerSlam. There's got to be, like,
I'm pretty sure there is.
Wait, there's still going to be 2, right? June and July?
Yeah, I think so. Pay-per-view. How the fuck do you spell paper? There.
Not pay-per-views anymore. They're network events.
Oh, I'm sorry. 2019. What do we got? We got a takeover on June 1st.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Have they got a pay-per-view?
25.
I wanted to talk about that. What do you think about that? Numbered now.
Ooh.
Also, they're in Bridgeport. Ooh.
We've got Stomping Grounds in 23rd on June 23rd. What? This is our June pay-per-view.
Stomping Grounds?
Yeah, it's just for Seth Rollins.
It's
like the in your house break it down or like rock bottom or whatever. Stomping Grounds. And then in July we have Extreme Rules, and then in August we have SummerSlam. September Hell in a Cell. October Clash of the Champions.
Oh, don't listen past August. After the G1, we'll all stop watching wrestling.
Survivor Series, and close out the year with TLC, Tables, Ladders, and Chairs. Ooh.
Is that the first time they've done TLC in a bit? I don't think they did that.
They've run it, but it's been in September.
No, they did it in December last year.
Did they? Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
There's the Becky Asuka Charlotte thing. Then they ran in September. They ran in October the year before. We'll go into detail on that. Yeah. So what have we got? We got Stomping Grounds next month, and then we got that Saudi show. I don't know if I want to watch the Saudi show. If there's a card on there.
If you wanted to do something like this, then I'd watch it just to fucking shit on Goldberg Undertaker. Because holy shit, Goldberg Undertaker. I have no words.
That card looks so bad. I kind of want to watch it, like you said, because
I was gonna say it's like almost awful. Like fun to watch it because it'd be so bad. Like these matches
so
look awful.
Bad.
Oh, I've just seen Triple H, Randy Orton. Oh my god!
That's not to mention Braun, Bobby Lashley.
Oh, I won't be able to watch that live though. I'll be in. Oh, I'd be able. Maybe I might be able to watch it live, or I might show up like half an hour late to watching it.
I mean, that'll be only halfway into the Triple H Randy Orton opener.
This card.
I don't think I'm going to be able to will myself to watch that card, but TakeOver.
That's fair.
Maybe though. We'll see. Oh, TakeOver looks really good. Look, there's 2 matches on the Wikipedia card, but they're really good.
Both of them look phenomenal.
So I think we're definitely doing TakeOver. We might do if you're up for it. We might do TakeOver live because
I'm down for that, dude.
Time.
Like
yeah.
That one match, Gargano Cole 2, is going to be so awful.
I like how it's a singles match, too. They just did 2 out of 3 falls. They're like,
yeah, it's like, we up the ante, bring it down.
Odds that the singles match goes longer than 2 out of 3 falls.
Oh, dude, there's going to be so much interference, because they've had, like, the Undisputed Era break up now, so, like...
Oh, man.
Roddy's going to help Gargano, and, like, the Undisputed Era is going to get in on this, and, like... I don't know, who else? Ciampa is going to show up on the stage and like point at somebody. Probably Sean in the crowd will be like, "Hey."
Okay, so yeah, we got TakeOver 25, the big one. Everything's bigger in Texas. TakeOver 25 in Bridgeport.
Everything's bigger in Bridgeport.
Everything's bigger in Bridgeport. And then I don't know what they're going to do for Stomping Grounds. We'll see the card. Like we did this because this card looked promising. I think it underperformed Money in the Bank. And
Oh,
we've
yeah.
talked about it all night. So I think we're in agreement on that one. We'll look at the Stomping Ground card and see what it's like. I think we've agreed to come back for Takeover. And then we can do Dominion. It's the biggest. It's the second biggest non-WWE show of the year.
Wait. Oh, no. I'm out of town on June 1st. Oh,
Feels
no.
bad. You're fucked.
No.
We
I'm
could-
sorry.
No.
Damn.
We could save. Well, I'm gonna watch the show.
Save it.
Well, we could save it. That's a possibility. I don't know.
I'm back the next day.
You're pretty connected though. I think I'd be able to avoid spoilers. I don't know if you would.
I don't know if I care about spoilers though. At that point, you know what I mean?
Do.
Like
you don't want to know what happens in that main event. There's some gifs are going to be all over the internet.
Listen, when Shawn Michaels comes out from like under the ring, like he breaks through the mat Undertaker style and pulls Adam Cole down with him to hell. Yeah, you're right. I'll be
Also,
pretty upset.
fucking SummerSlam's in Canada this year.
Yeah, I'm not going to that. I don't know why you would.
Go to Takeover.
I don't know how much tickets are. I don't know if tickets have even gone on sale.
They would have, and they would have gone, and I think they would be more expensive now than when they were. You should look into it though. It's a good show. I've been to the Takeover. It's a good show. I went to the London one.
I might have to check it out. I'd like to know the card ahead of time, but you never know, I guess, when you apply for something like this.
From what we've seen on that women's match for 25, whoever wins it, it's worth watching for that. Whoever they face, right?
That's true.
Yeah. So either way, we're not Takeover 25 is up in the air. We're not sure what we're gonna do. But looking at these WWE events, I think the best time to guarantee we'll come back for a podcast is Dominion if you're down for it, because I don't know about any of those WWE events. Dominion, I don't even know. Actually, I tell you that Dominion might be shite. Let me go look at the full card because I don't want to watch the main event.
Like, when the hell is Dominion? I
It's
even
end
know.
of June, beginning of July. So
Dominion.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like British Empire. I'm like, no.
It's June 9th.
June 9th. Yeah, no, I'm around then. What's the card for that thus far? Do we have anything?
Yeah, there's 3 matches. It's like a 1 out of 3 hit rate.
Oh, right, because one of them is, of course, the
Yep.
glorious. Oh man.
No, I'm not really feeling that. What about the Best of Super Juniors final? When's that?
Yeah, I could do that. I could get caught up.
I'm not
is-
going to promise I'm going to get caught up for it.
I will get spoilers. Oh god, Wikipedia. I was like, what's this? Then I just saw point totals. I'm like,
Don't worry.
stay away from me.
I'll look for it for you.
I'm like, that was God. I'm so glad I didn't properly analyze anything. I saw some people had 6 points. I was like, I was like, oh no. That was one of the dumbest things I've done in the hot second.
It happens all the time. Let's have a look here. June 5th.
June 4th?
5th.
5th. What day is that? That's on Wednesday? Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do one right after that. Won't that be in the morning or something like that? So I've got classes pretty early. Ooh.
No, I think it'll be night for you on the 4th, I think.
Yeah, but what time night?
Not morning. I think it'll be pre-midnight start. I think.
I might be able to do it if it's a show.
You've been watching it. You have any predictions for who's winning the blocks?
The blocks? Hold on, let me grab this here. Reminder, I've only seen the first 2 nights. Just be totally wrong. I don't really have any predictions. I'll tell you what I'd like to see.
Taiji will?
Probably, yeah. That's probably.
They always do the fucking surprise. So somebody surprised.
Oh yeah,
It's gonna be Tiger Mask and Will.
I have only seen the first 2 nights, but They're very impressed with Show after one night.
Yeah, a lot of people are. I don't think they'll do him though. I mean,
I was gonna say, I wondered if Night One or whatever, they kept hyping up that, if Show could beat Shingo, he could go the whole way.
Right. Either way,
no spoilers here though.
None of the I don't think anything from New Japan or the WWE in the early summer looked promising enough that we can guarantee we'll be back. So I'll tell you this. We'll be back for SummerSlam at the very latest.
We will be back.
SummerSlam we'll do the SummerSlam takeover or something. We'll see. Yeah. SummerSlam's always good. SummerSlam, we're not going to talk about this now. We're just going to do a brief sentence. SummerSlam's been really disappointing in recent years because it used to be like the WWE show, right? Way better than Mania, like early 2000s.
Yep.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, we'll be back for SummerSlam where we'll no doubt be disappointed, where Charlotte Lacey will compete for 2 belts in the main event, and it'll be glorious. We'll see you guys then.